This kind of project, it starts, but it never ends. Every project, we are planting a seed of the change for the future. The little cottage that has been stood there for hundreds of years, it came back to life. The new owner came into the new light of this land, and we were brought in to make this quite humble little cottage into more flexible, more usable space, and delivered very sustainably.
The house was originally cottages for miners of sand. Whoever built the house to begin with obviously had really great ideas. As it's kind of progressed and changed over time, it has a real interaction with its space, the relationship between outdoors and indoors.
The original cottage has stood here over 100 years. It has been adopted for the different uses. It wasn't designed for the grandeur of living. Staircases are uncomfortably steep. The building did not have any insulation. Nothing is straight. And because this was just a worker's cottage, it didn't really have areas that you would want in the rural living. You go out and pick these amazing apples and pears, but nowhere to wash up straight away. So it's kind of like a thinking about how the property can evolve to accommodate this modern family's a need of multi-generational need and how they want to live with this landscape. And I think this is really important that at this time of a climate crisis, that how our attitude towards the existing buildings and how we should be living, coexisting, reusing the new lease of life with this beautifully crafted buildings that we have. I always say the relationship with a client, especially when you're designing a home for them, it's a collaborative process and you're working together, and you also need to have human-to-human connection. It is actually like cooking together. It's like having a meal together at the end of the day, and you're talking about what do we have, what should we buy, what should we bring, and how should we cook this. The families, their desires, and their individuality, as well as mine, it all comes into the one pot to make a large casserole.
One of the key points was the idea of being able to have a self-contained space that was accessible for all generations, for both our ageing parents and also for when we get old ourselves. It was very important that we built in this sense of continuation but also separateness between the different spaces, and I think that Jay's realised that really well.
This project really is about the cottage and its landscape. It doesn't try to be its own prima donna. It hugs a building quite gently. It hugs like a jacket. It makes it so much warmer to occupy because we're actually covering a lot of its external facade that was exposed element. And also, it also protects the main building from the hill that we are standing behind us. It structurally holds the bank back. On the building, on the exterior, you can see all the vertical elements are a British cedar, but at the same time, the horizontal sills that we have used Iroko. Yes, Iroko has traveled slightly further distance, but it's much a harder wood, and when you use a horizontal sill application, it's going to outlast any other timber. Internally, they are Douglas fir, so we wanted to have a limited palette, but the species that actually work well in the location and application. And on the floor, we have a clay, the Pomont from Norfolk, locally fired with a local clay, and again give warmth, and it's artisan made. The building gives the impression of that it has been made and it's been crafted rather than being manufactured.
The extension is envisaged as a space that isn't just about our friends and family, it's about offering a space to people that might need it for different reasons, people that might need respite or retreat. One, it kind of makes it a bit separate from our family home because the extension can be separate. And two, it's also about creativity and sensitivity to materials and the idea that a place is a place that can produce something.
I always get amazed by how we as human beings can go through such a process, and that process is always intriguing. And I was sleeping here last night, and there is an overlap of what I have imagined and what I'm actually experiencing. And that's quite special, I think.